So, hi Jill, how are you?
Hi, Christine. How are you?
I'm fine, yeah. So, this week we are looking at Mary and the angel Gabriel telling her that she's pregnant and she's going to have God's child. So, we thought it would be a great idea if we could interview you, as you're a midwife, to kind of discuss how this may have felt for Mary. So maybe as a midwife, what does that kind of entail?
So a midwife actually means with women. So it's a role that I have, that I'm with women during childbirth, the period before and also the period after childbirth.
Excellent. Perfect. So we're going to start off. We just thought it would be a great question to ask. What is the silliest present you have ever received?
That's a really difficult one. I once received a Secret Santa from one of my friends at work, and it was a pair of socks with Wonder Woman on them. And it wasn't until the first time I put those socks on that I realised that the face on Wonder Woman was my face.
Oh, wow. Must be pretty cool. Right. So we've already touched this, but how would have Mary felt in that moment? She was told from this angel Gabriel that she's pregnant and they've been sent off to Bethlehem because of the counting. What do you think Mary would have felt in this time?
I think that's a really interesting question. I had the joy of being able to speak to some of my mums this week about how they felt having their first babies. And I've got a couple of quotes here from some of the mums. So one of them said to me that just before having her son, I remember that overwhelming feeling of joy and entrustment. I couldn't wait to hold my baby, but knew that once he was born, I would have to share him. Others would hold him, would smile at him, and yes, would hurt him. I couldn't keep him safe in my arms forever, which I thought was really interesting. And I think Mary probably would have felt that as well. There was another lady I spoke to, and she said the week leading up to giving birth to my first child was a roller coaster of emotions: fear, excitement, anxiety. She felt physically exhausted, and was really worried that, whether her body would be able to handle the childbirth that she wanted. She spoke about feeling, would she be a good mother? Would the baby be healthy? And I think a lot of that would have been what Mary would have been feeling too. I think added on top of that would have been the feelings that God had come to her and told her that the child was his. And I think she would have had that added pressure of this being the Son of God, and maybe imagining, what plans did he have for the future of that child?
Yeah, definitely agree. What piece of advice would you have given to Mary if you were there in that moment?
That's a really good one. I think as my big role at the moment is infant feeding. So I might have suggested to Mary and Joseph a lot of skin-to-skin contact with their son. And this is something that I recommend to all my mums. And it helps with bonding with the baby and also helps with that first feed. So as an infant feeding advisor, I would have maybe advised Mary a lot of skin-to-skin contact with her baby.
Okay. How would you have reacted if you were there for Jesus's birth and the time that Mary was pregnant?
I think I would have felt very privileged to have been there. I would have loved to have been able to help, and I probably would have reacted the same way that I would have reacted to most of my parents to be. I hopefully would have been approachable to her, caring. I would hopefully have been able to answer any questions they had, any apprehensions, hopefully try to alleviate their fears. I would have been trying to prepare them for life as new parents, and ensuring that Mary's choices for birth and her feeding, how she wanted to feed her baby, were met. So yeah, that's what I would have been. It would have been a privilege to have been there helping her.
And would you have found being in a stable a little bit weird?
I've had the joy of delivering a lot of babies out of hospital as a community midwife. So I have delivered a baby in a forest, in a hut, which was specifically for that delivery. So very similar maybe to what it would have been like, because there was very little heating, there was very little light. I think a lot of mums now don't like bright lights when they're delivering their babies, so the stable probably would have been quite nice. I might have maybe suggested that the visitors afterwards, I would have maybe been quite strict with them. I wouldn't have had, you know, the shepherds and the kings all coming in at once. I might have suggested that we did that in stages, you know, just to allow the mother some time and rest.
Yeah. So overall, what is the message you have for today?
I think I know that your theme is very much kindness this week as well, and I think over the last 9 months as a midwife, kindness has really been a big part of my role. It's been quite a scary time for mums, especially with the pandemic and you know, the knowledge that they were having these new babies, and they haven't had the chance to have a lot of antenatal education and being together with other mums. So I've written down here just a wee piece. So to me, kindness is more than just deeds. It's an attitude, it's an expression, it's a look, it's a touch. It's anything that lifts another person, and I think that's really, really important at the moment, you know, especially with the pandemic and with the new mums out there. And I think, yeah, I think Mary must have been quite scared, you know, travelling away from her home. She would have wanted to try and find a place that she could protect her child and deliver her baby in safety. So I think kindness would have been a big part of that.
100%. That's something, as you say, very important for this year. And as you say, also all 2,000 years ago back then. Imagine the hostility Mary and Joseph must have got because they were unmarried. Mary was young.
Yes.
Imagine they received quite a bit of.
I think I've looked through a lot of the passages in the Bible, Christine, and a lot of it speaks of her acceptance of what she was being told. And I think as a young woman, that would have been really difficult to be told that, you know, you're about to be married, you know, but you're with child, you know, and you're right. I think there would have been a lot of hostility at that time. So, but she seemed to, you know, to reach an acceptance, and that was maybe through God's love. You know, she knew that this was right and this was what was going to happen.
Definitely. So thank you so much, Jill. This has been a great conversation. Sorry.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you. I feel very privileged for you to be asked. That's lovely. Thank you.
Sorry that I threw in some extra questions, but you answered them perfectly. So thank you so much, Jill. It was
Thank you.
an honor to speak to you today. Thank you. Bye.